means truth. So tell me about your spiritual journey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tattva Tuesday. This is Lindsay Warwick, the conduit on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. What's up? I am so excited to have my friend Jessica Johnston with me here. She doesn't have a title.
I have a lot of titles. I try not to be too exclusive, per se.
Yeah. So, welcome to Tattva Tuesday, where, as you know, Tattva is a Sanskrit word that means truth. So we're here to talk about your truth, your spiritual truth, your spiritual journey, and maybe some of those amazing titles that you embody.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're going with this. And as you guys know, I never edit these. It's a totally raw take. So we're going to see what comes up and what Spirit wants to communicate through us today. So that being said, where do you want to start? Where are you feeling like you want to start?
I'm loving the power of Tattva. So I'm kind of letting that percolate in, because my prayer right now is to really enjoy hearing what comes out too.
Yeah.
I've been really centering into actually receiving the experience of my life a lot more, instead of setting courses and setting sail and having a fucking plan, you know, and expectations and suffering and the mortal woundings of the fractured heart that is life sometimes. So
Heard.
sitting in Tattva right now is super great for the centering of truth is always present, exceptionally free and freeing. And getting in the center of the wheel of my life has been really a lot of the truth for 2023 for me.
I feel that. I really do feel that this year has rocked me into existing only in truth and authenticity. And I feel that this year has probably been my most honest year as well. So, and I love that you mentioned like the fracturing of the heart and how we're all just trying to navigate this shit or school. I do want to mention that I attended a beautiful sister circle on, is that Tuesday night?
It was.
Tuesday night. Jessica co-facilitated with our dear friend Leah Pegram, and it was so beautiful to be on the beach with, I don't even know how many women were there.
50. There was a lot of ladies.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So amazing. And there was no journaling or creating. It was just being in our heart. And you introduced this amazing heart kriya, because you're a Kundalini teacher, right?
Yeah, this is a good time to kind of go into some of those titles. Right?
Yeah,
So
I'd love to. Yeah, we tell them who you are.
White chick Lindsay knows. I mean, what the hell, right? Yeah. So hi, Grand Rising. My name is Jessica Johnston. I'm a certified professional midwife, a homebirth midwife provider in the state of Alaska. I'm currently traveling with my family. I teach midwifery students across the nation. I teach at midwifery conferences. I teach routine and complication care management in the home birth and birth center settings. I work with neonatologists, maternal fetal medicine specialists, and OBs and hospital admin staff to integrate and increase seamless and best outcome transport programs and protocols for city and state level measures, so that people who need to go, even if they just want an epidural, they need to go from home into the hospital. It happens easily, and that communication is done seamlessly. So that's one of my passions, is increasing affordable strong, culturally responsive, and good access to education in birth skill and returning that back to the people, especially in rural and underserved populations, because we're losing OBs at an alarming rate. Our provider crisis in the United States is actually going to be worse than the pandemic. And so I work strongly with states across the United States to increase the amount of maternal care providers that will be present and available in areas where hospitals are closing, because we're losing 100 hospitals a year right now. And we are retiring more maternity care providers than we're actually matriculating. So we're in a really interesting spot in the nation. So a lot of my spiritual tattva sits in action on the ground to be part of the change that is very easy to be part of. You know, do all you can with what you have, where you have, the time and space you are. Do all you can. And so that's how I can really put my feet to the street, put my faith and my works in the same place. As Lindsay said, I have a history. I was a Kundalini yoga teacher for years. I was a prenatal yoga teacher for years. I was a 14-year career server. I'm a nationally certified beer judge. I have a very fun history of different hats I've worn. But I'm also an oracle. I am a channel, so I do a lot of conscious channeling. And so, like, if Lindsay and I wanted to do a reading, she'd kind of bring to the table what brought her for a reading, and her team and my team would chat, and I would consciously relay what was being relayed from her team to her through me. Similar, her obviously she's a conduit. That's what channels are. I'm a conduit. I'm a conscious conduit for the highest and best to transpire. And I'm a sound healer and an energy healer. So I'm Reiki attuned, and I love Reiki. I fell into, I had tuning fork fun about 15 years ago, but then I fell kind of really in love with tuning forks in like the first year of the pandemic. And the vibrational granularity, nuance, and ability that getting back into the world of the electromagnetic field, the biofield, the akasha, the soul, like the rings of the tree that come off of our beings, and the stories that get stuck in these little pockets. As I started to move more into energy healing with my pregnancy clients, with my postpartum clients, with my babies that were delivered, right? And doing cranial sacral and energy work on them after birth. When I started to move into the sound aspects of that and develop out that practice, my channeling came big time. And so I had been channeling forever, but in 2021, it was like, oh, that's what that is. I'm here, that you're okay, we are talking. And so it's been such a fun, when we talk about different hats we wear, right? I'm a maternal health care advocate, a rebel, I'm an innovator. I sit on the leading edge of creation, happily blazing. And I'm a woman, and sometimes I'm terrified of being burned as a witch. And sometimes I think I might be wrong. And yet I've never felt, and it's funny because I don't think I'll be wrong. It's that wounding, that community wounding that can come up as I get deeper into the vibrational essence of life and the truth that lies there. It becomes more true, and I become less afraid of being wrong, but it's not about being wrong or right. But it has brought me in the last year, 2 years specifically, to confront real security demons. And I say demon, but really they were always friends. And they had been trying to get my attention for so long. And I had set up something, some practice around, not now, or I can't, or if it opens, it won't close. Just the stuff that, I mean, honestly, as a dysregulated child, I probably picked up, and I was pre-verbal, and it's just kind of run forever, right?
Yeah.
So it's this coming face to face with ego deaths, and coming face to face with woundings around belonging and overwhelm and being enough as I am.
Yeah.
A lot of truth sitting in that. The pandemic, I love how Toni Jones, she's one of my favorite spiritual artists. If you haven't listened to her, she will reprogram your mind in less than a year. Listen to her albums on repeat. Big plug. Shameless unsolicited plug right there.
Okay.
But like she said, my pandemic was internal first. And then the community's pandemic.
We are a reflection, I think, of what's happening in the world, because we are the world in ourselves, and what's going on inside of us is often a reflection of what's going on in our immediate outer world, and then also the collective consciousness is a reflection. But I've never heard it stated like that the pandemic started within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it became, and then another line of hers, it became a commitment to give myself the love that I never received from my family, from my country, from my community. And to make a choice to bring into being the love you know is available for yourself, your country, and your community in a space of loving it is an interesting dichotomy to hold.
Yeah.
Because you're going to bring into existence something you've never experienced from that same space. And that's alchemy, right? That is creation, taking known parts and mixing them into a new known. And it's a beautiful dance. And I think often about the line, odd such, jugad such, high be such, nanak ahose be such, which is a Kundalini line. And roughly translated, please God, go look it up if you want the exact. Geez, I'm not looking at a computer. Paraphrasing. It's pretty much like everything that's always been, it was in the beginning. It will
That
always
spiral.
be. It will be in the end, as God has always said it will be. And so our heart opening on Tuesday was centering around that in it, but not of it. Essence of being able to detach ourselves enough to give ourselves back the freedom of life without dissociation. There's a play there. To be in your life and to understand that everything's working out perfectly, no matter how it looks at any given time, is a warrior's understanding.
That's like what keeps coming through me.
It's a warrior's understanding of the larger purpose. It's me knowing that for all the woundings my mother and I may have experienced together, or I may feel, that actually through this physical experience of this upload, this incarnation of her playing mom and me playing babe, all of these things, that actually when she passes, in fact now, before she passes, but it'll be very true. You know, when I don't want that day to come anytime soon, but when she passes, that she actually is always loved. Like I see through the woundings that may have brought me deep pain, and it doesn't mean I don't feel them. This is that mutual truth, being able to hold seemingly opposites with the same amount of compassion. That I was hurt by certain things in my life. And I actually know that she's one of my greatest supporters etherically. And actually, this is the real fucking kicker. When she dies, all the things I've been trying to do to get her approval on this world, right? It's up to me if I let them die or not, but she's not around to see them. And what's interesting is on the other side, she's actually gonna want me to love me and do what I came to do. Nothing to do with her earthly trappings I accidentally made up in my own trauma story. So it's been this really intriguing unwrapping of the heart, like you said. Of really going into the heart space is going into your character.
I feel like all year, all my life. You said so many things, but I was like, yes. You're on a roll there. I'm like, where do I even start? Where do I even go from all the amazingness that you just spoke out loud? I love that you said that everything is actually happening, like it's almost happening for us. Like that's how I've been trying to cope with life, with hardship, with pain, with suffering, to get out of the victim mentality has been massive for me, getting out of that, oh, well, why me? But why not me also? And those narratives, those stories that we tell, I used to always have to make somebody be the villain in my story. And I know that there's been a tremendous amount of growth in just in my own evolution and development, because now I don't blame. I can really use, in the Rose Priestess practices that I have, the karmic, the blindfold. So you go into that level of looking at it from an even playing field, and you really look at where one person, like, you can see their wounds. Well, I can, I can see their wounding and I can see my own wounding. I have a story that is my Tattva. They have a story that is their Tattva. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't affect me as much as it did before,
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you were talking about like the roles that you and your mother have played for each other. And I'm getting to know you. I'm loving getting to know you, but I don't know your story as far as the mother wounding. But there was a lot of mother wounding between my mother and I as well, and a tremendous amount of talk therapy and breath work and movement and amends process with my mom has brought so much healing to the feminine line in my family. But for a long time, like, I wanted so desperately just for her to love me, look at what I'm doing, and really see. And now I do realize that through those hard situations with her, the one who brought me into this fucking earth, she has been my greatest advocate on the etheric side. And I love that you said that. It reminds me of, have you ever listened to The Little Soul in the Sun?
Yeah, the book.
Yeah,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
we'll paraphrase,
Yeah.
look it up because I'm not looking at it right now, but essentially our most painful experiences on earth are the ones, I feel like I could cry. I'm not gonna try not to cry, but if I cry, whatever, who cares? They are on the other side, our biggest champions for growth. Like on the other side, this kind of how the story goes, that they're like, well, I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna do this for you, but you're gonna grow. And so the extreme suffering that I have experienced at the hands of other people, and I'm doing this because I'm trying not to put blame. Fucked up shit has happened to me, but the way that I have found forgiveness is knowing that in those fucked up experiences and suffering has come now with my free will choice, because we do have free will, right? We can choose. And here I am going on a little tangent, but you're an Aquarius, so you've got me. You can follow me.
Yeah.
So the choice, that free will, am I gonna choose to be Darth Vader with my shit? I'm going Star Wars because he was a beautiful, amazingly powerful Jedi and chose to let the trauma turn him to the dark side. So the moments of suffering where I've had that free will choice, am I going to go to the dark side and let this harden my heart? I have consciously chosen in my later years, in my earlier years, not so much, but in my later years, I consciously choose the light, and it can be very fucking challenging because I feel my heart going. And then practices like the Kriya or opening up and having like beautiful conscious conversations, I'm like, okay, I can let my heart open a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, and it's being it, and it again, it's the how, when we talk about things like recovery, and we talk about things like healing, and we talk about things like the healing journey and all of that, like, we have to be really aware of which way are you pointed while you're on your path. And there's a lot about unpacking in the healing journey that does require an orientation of giving heart space and presence to things that have passed. So turning back and looking back and opening perspective from a different point in the tree rings of your life. You had time, you had space. There's so much available and value. However, if you get stuck looking backwards, where do you think you'll go? And it doesn't mean, and honestly, what's fucking funny is if illogical, you can't go backwards because you'll never be the same person you ever were again. So it's impossible for things to happen. But the longer you look back, how impossible does that feel if that's the data you're engulfed in? So energetic sovereignty is understanding that if you embody and you walk this journey of healing, of recovery, that it's actually to become the one that faces forward proudly, boldly, bravely, enjoying and receiving the life they've asked to live and receive and expecting it. And You can't go forward with a ton of baggage on your fucking back,
No,
trying to carry everybody with you
it's very tiring.
into the plane, and yet to set it down requires a play of being able to look back, but have enough faith, hope, works, action, community support, whatever the fuck it is for you. Everybody's recipe is different, to be the one that knows why they're looking back while they're doing it, and still being able to flow downstream. So and what is that? What am I saying? You have compassion for yourself. Oh, it sounds simple, you know?
Yeah, it does sound very simple.
That in the midst of it all, you could stop and say, how is this benefiting me? Or how could I access a part of this that would serve sovereignty and actually expand well-being, right? In the midst of choppy rivers and shit, sometimes you don't have time to save that.
Right.
So also understanding in truth that we always want the most perfect things, and fuck yeah, keep asking. And as we go through the grid shifting, it takes for us to become aligned to these things, right? Stay pointed downstream. It's always working out for you, no matter how it looks at any given point. It's always working out for me, no matter how it looks at any given point in time. It is always working out for me. Now, people get stuck in this attraction manifestation loop of thinking that they are beep, bop, boop, putting in their order, which they are, and I fucking love it. Do it all the time. Put in your order. And then they're like sitting back like it's an easy bake oven. And they're like, I'm going to get this order. Like they just ordered at McDonald's. They're just like, it's getting cooked. And I ordered a hamburger and fries. So I'm getting a hamburger and fries, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, love you.
I know.
And so no, wait, there's no despair here, right? We put in our order, and then we don't expect it to manifest first. Okay? So hear me. It's already here. What? Yeah. You know, time and space are a fourth dimension that allow third dimensional beings like us to live in. So we live in the fourth dimension because we're third dimensional, right? And this fourth dimension is full of ether. It is the field that has gravitational relativity. We have all these beautiful things. So our beautiful bodies can be oriented and look humanoid like they do, right? We get into, actually, I'm going to stop. Do you have any questions first?
No, I'm loving, keep it going. I'm loving where you're going with this. I'm loving this because I feel like lately, more than anything, I have had to force the changing of my thought process of, again, like this is all happening for my highest good, even if I don't see it that way yet. So I'm loving that you're going, continue.
Well, and it's our mind. It's meant to help our third dimensional body navigate in a fourth dimensional space. And our mind has a lot of black and white thinking to it. Hi, if you have an addiction history.
I mean, yeah.
Hi, if you're ADHD. Hi, if you're autistic. Right? Like black and white thinking is pretty rampant in consumerism culture. So it's like it's part of it, right? And so manifesting, big shout out to Abraham Hicks. First, Abraham Hicks came into my life when I was 9 years old, so I've grown up with Abraham Hicks, and that was really beautiful to have my mom also start listening when I was a child.
Okay.
So and when Abraham Hicks, when Esther, God bless her, and Jerry started doing the channeling, it was little rooms and little Hiltons, and it was very few people, and it did grow over time. And I want us to zoom out and look at the collective consciousness of that. They were dropping into resonance. You know, this is here too. Pebble, 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 pebble. People. Now people are coming. Right? 40 some odd years later. Here we are. Okay.
I mean, I have their books are in there.
So, and a lot of people love it. And a lot of people have actually become magnificent manifestors. I feel like as we move further into the 21st century, the vibes don't lie. The Aquarius age is going to pick up speed and take this law of attraction understanding a little more into a more easy to handle way for a lot of people, because instead of thinking, okay, I just uploaded my order, right? Beautiful Grecian palazzo, right? a personal
I
chef.
feel you.
Right, personal chef with a sweet little convertible. My kids are happy, right? My husband and I are healthy. We're home. We love it, right? Put in my order, right? Now, do I believe it's already happened? And this is energetic. This is an energetic truth. With the problem, with the ask, immediately comes the solution, like a DNA strand. Hear that? When you ask for something and you lay out your side of the track, the universe, like DNA, lays it right back. Here you go, it's there.
Yeah.
Now, your DNA, between that, the alchemy that's going to happen for you and this reality that's already here to meet is guaranteed. A lot of people put out their orders and then they start looking for the
exact
physicalized
order of what they ordered, right?
And what I want people to say is that it's less relevant. You will not miss what's for you.
I have a great story to tell in regards to this exact thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's to wrap up the manifesting aspect of it, it's already here. How much faith and belief do you have in asking and receiving?
Yes.
How much faith do you have in yourself to be adaptable enough to become the perfect match for the life you say you want? And the space between you feeling that solution. And this is where a lot of people don't stop and wait for a second. When you ask for something, stop. Ask for it. Let it be so. Give it up. And say, I open and receive the solution of it flowing through me now, and I match to it coherently. And watch your body receive the solution. People think they say manifestation has a time delay. It's ripples of dilation in time. This is one moment of life. My life is one moment that's slowed down and particulated into physicalized form. I'd be up here, but for now I'm here, and it feels like years, but it's just one me, right? I ask and I receive, I ask and I receive. The best way to get what you want is to immediately let go of it, looking like anything. Take the picture, give it back to God and say, I love that picture. Do it, whatever you think is best, and say, are there co-creative components available to make this or something better available to me currently? And then feel the air around you, and you'll feel everything light up and say, great, I'm open to receive. Yes. And so you start to tune your body to expecting solution. You start tuning your body to expecting to receive. You start, and you give it the energy stream by opening, we're talking 30 seconds, keep breath. So that you can feel it. That's the solution I've asked for. That's what it feels like. When it was in my mind, it was all over here, but when I just sit back and don't judge it, with the vibration come in of the solution, this issue resolved. Highest and best for me. What does that feel like to my system?
Yes.
Oh, it feels like my stomach relaxes. Oh, well, that's different than excitement. Yeah, actually, a lot of people can't take excitement and a stomach relaxed. Can you have a relaxed stomach to absorb excitement? Shit, that's dope. Most people are like, now it's anxiety, and it turns into a wall because they mislabel their energy because they're not used to asking and receiving as a full circuit to become the conduit that is responsibly receiving and present to be present for what the fuck they asked for.
Yeah.
Woo! There's no judgment. It's just like how many times you want to go around this fucking merry-go-round.
Exactly.
Before you see.
I have a great story to share. It's very relevant. It's very resonant to this conversation.
Yeah.
So I was recently waitressing, and it wasn't like a horrible environment, but it wasn't my ideal job. So on the way to work every day, I would pray out loud. I started praying out loud because I found a lot of power and quick response from spirit when I voice things out loud. I also listened to a podcast a few weeks ago that said that when you sing things, it gets lodged into your subconscious. So I started like singing and whatnot. But I would ask, please, God, source, whatever you want to label it, I would say, I want to be in the best job for me that makes me happy and brings me abundance. And I started doing this, and very shortly after I got fired from my job. So I freaked the fuck out a little bit. Yeah. Right? Because Jessica was in my life. I freaked out. And then I realized like, wait, I asked for this. So I switched my perception.
Yeah.
I asked for this. So then I've been looking around for different jobs. I'm getting no to certain things. But then when I relax in my body and I feel in my body that the perfect job is here for me, I've been booked with clients and I did a spiritual expo. I'm doing another expo. I've been getting overpaid very graciously by clients. And my spirit team, I'm freaking out. And meanwhile, they're like laughing, like, we are taking care of you. Like, this is what you asked for. And so, right, it's exactly what you're talking about, because it's all about perception, but there isn't a delay. There is not a delay in creation. And Joe Dispenza talks about that a little bit too. And I'm sure you already know. They're like, I know. So it's like, I asked for the perfect job. I lost my job. I freaked out. And then they were like, no, calm down. So what I do every day is I pray and I meditate. I get into my body and I feel what it feels like to have the best job for me. Like we were talking the other day at the coffee shop. Aren't you living your dream right now? It's whatever time we were at the coffee shop, shooting the shit, having this amazing conversation, you know? And I'm like, yes, I am living my dream. I am living my job. And I have a beautiful friend. She's been on the podcast as well. She has labeled the job the joy of being. It's her joy of being.
Yeah.
It's, and as a Capricorn, like I work, I know, like I have worked professionally. I have an extensive resume. I'm intelligent. I have certifications and a bachelor's degree. And I want to go back to school, which here I concludes the story. So I have found an avenue in the matrix where I can bring my healing to, right? We discussed this. I applied for school. I'm going to go back to school. And I'm freaking out about money this week because I went around looking for a job, a job, a joy of being, and I'm getting no's. But then I have this client last night for shamanic healing, and she works in the field that I want to go into. All I had to do was wait and believe and trust that I am getting exactly what I asked for, even though it doesn't look like a 6-figure corporate job right now. I'm still trusting in source, being I am provided for. So I love that you mentioned this about manifestation, because I really do feel abundant. Do I know where my money is coming from? As a Capricorn, is that very alarming? Fuck yes.
But you do know where it's coming from. And the interesting thing about anything is the delay is a time dilation. So really, how long until you believe it? Exactly. You do know where it's coming from. God got you.
Yeah.
So how long until your need for certainty feels good enough with God gotten you?
Yes.
Like whenever that collapses, and you can ask for that. Show me the easiest way to collapse that bullshit right now. I am living freedom. The more creative you can be in your spiritual journey, the more you can ask without second guessing. We had this talk the other day too, didn't we?
Yeah.
About how people will ask for things and then say, but.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Like, I can't with buts. Only because, and I'll tell you why. People feel like they're lying. And it's because they've been told that the power of their word has to be used mechanically, which means it has to reaffirm already known things that can be replicatable in study. And that is mechanism. That is the basis of modern science. That is not true. So, and it becomes this, like Lindsay said before, all things are working out for me. And I'm
Always.
like,
Even if it doesn't look like it.
Hold up. I give it up to people who don't like it, who don't like to hear that, because I need you to, like, I get you. Like, I get you. I get you. And it's a choice about energetic stability. It doesn't have to be real, but I would ask anybody who fucking went through the pandemic what's real at this point. what our energy goes to appreciates. So if I'm saying, I'm so abundant, oh, I'm doing my affirmations, I'm getting jazzed, and then I get my coat on, I immediately start thinking, I don't know how to get that bill paid. Do I have to do this job? Fuck, and my body starts getting heavy. I hate this job. That's okay, I'm gonna start drinking coffee. It's okay. And I worship all day the energy of how I don't have.
Then you call in that lack energy.
So I'm gonna give everybody this. Healing is how much can you hold your own fucking hand as you realize how much you've let yourself down. And you know how quick you'll get over it? Is when you don't give a fuck it. Like, and it's not that you don't give a fuck that it happened, but that you literally are just like, well, it happened.
Exactly.
There's this fucking crux of a shift, because what are we really doing? What is trauma? Trauma is trapped energy based on belief structures that are holding life force that is incongruent to the flow of our natural patterning. That dissonance that exists between this belief and this knowing of our inner being creates what's called this inflammation pathway. Oh, then I have shoulder pain. It starts out here as a nagging thought.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Now I've got this knot behind my shoulder.
Yeah.
Right? Because I let it be real. And that's healing. Oh, I let that be real.
Yeah.
And can you love yourself now? Not, oh, I let that be real. I'm such a piece of shit. Let me go get drunk. Oh, I let that be real, and now I get to be the mom that has to apologize to myself. Now I get to be the mom that has to hold my hand until I get over it, which I might not. And I'm not going to leave anyways. I'm going to be the one that just shows up the whole time like she's always needed. On purpose. No matter if she's happy or not, that piece of me that's needing to be heard. I'm going to learn how to be the midwife of my own life and not get behind myself and push, or ahead of myself and pull according to societal matrix demands. I'm actually going to believe me. What the fuck? I'm going to actually believe me. And I'm going to give myself a beat to get the space to make sure I have the grace to be me. Yeah, dude, it's saying sorry. And then I love you. And you want to try something new, like a 6-year-old who accidentally bumped herself into something. Feels like for me right now in 2023, possible eternity. I hope we're talking here, and I'm like, oh, that's old shit. I'm doing this new thing. But 2023 was 2023, and they were not going to let me get out of this without seeing me in the bullshit stories I was telling. Because I was like, oh, I'm not a victim. Bitch, you know how much time I spent arguing in the shower over old dead things with people in my fucking mind? That's victim mentality. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Pick it up now.
In your head, yeah.
And you know why it comes up? Let me tell you what I figured out. It comes up when I'm getting really close to being happy.
Oh, of course it does.
And it comes
it's
up
like
when
that
I've been
ego,
happy.
that ego ambush that comes in.
Well, it's like, oh my God, that's so
Fear
cool. You
of
have
how
all this
great you
happiness.
are.
Oh, look at all this happiness, this joy that recovery helps you handle.
Oh, yeah.
That healing, you're supposed to, it's only to handle joy. It's not to get over shit. It's to be able to have the capacity to be happy and not fuck it up on
And
your
know
own.
that you deserve it. It's like, yeah, I always wait for the other shoe to drop in that way. Like,
which perpetuates the story of waiting for another shoe to drop.
Exactly.
So how do you stop a shoe from dropping? I don't know, God, I'm gonna hit my knees right when I get up and say, today, both feet on the ground, no shoes drop. I am safe. I am fucking safe. I give ease to my urgency.
I love that.
Because what I'm really doing is acknowledging I've had a dysregulated hijacked CPTSD nervous system for decades.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried my fucking little autistic ass to get the fuck out of it with positive thinking. And God bless all the positive thinking. And it does titrate in. It drops pebbles. Do it. It drops pebbles that turn into waves in your pond, that turn into structural differences in your pond. And also, becoming a midwife, taught me how to actually sit with myself.
I love that you use the metaphor of being a midwife to your life. I love that so fucking much.
Midwifery saved my life.
Yeah. Ways. I love that. And I love that you also talked about, our disease and our physical body comes from outside of us first. And I'm trying to explain that to some of the clients that I work with, that as we go through time, we are accumulating experiences that get lodged in our auric field, lodged in that EMF field that you mentioned before, the electromagnetic field, and then eventually makes its way into the body. Now I notice I have been able to, with recovery process, God fucking bless recovery process, giving me a lot of great tools. But I love that even when you talked about, okay, you do this positive manifestation and then you put on your coat and you're going to your job and then all this shit comes into your head. I really tune in now to my body. Like, I'm like, what's it feeling and how do I want to feel? And how do I get back to feeling in a lighter version of me? And so, like, I don't know, I just love that you mentioned that, because that is something that I very much pay attention to, as well as sitting in the feelings and taking the story out, but just feeling my body. Okay.
Oh, the story wants to grab it too, man. The story is fucking meat, man.
Yeah.
To the foxy bit.
Yeah.
It's trying to get you.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
want to feel, where do you need it? And then I'm like communicating with my inner child. I wanted to bring up, because you did mention Abraham Hicks, which I love Abraham Hicks as well. But where I found a lot of power and manifestation for me was this woman. Her name is Lacey Phillips, and she has a manifestation program.
Cool.
It is neuroplasticity work. So you're getting deep into the theta brainwave state and you're reprogramming memories, not like, not like Men in Black shit. But you're going in, and how would I actually choose if I had a higher value of myself? So she talks about manifestation from a perception of boosting your self-worth and your inner value system, and manifesting from that because you know inherently that you deserve it.
Okay, and yes.
And I want to hear,
like,
yeah,
yes,
I know,
and.
I feel you.
Yes, and.
Yeah.
I'm a human rights activist.
Yeah.
So, everyone deserves to sit in their body safely.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone deserves a very, very soothing and authentic and very nourishing and beautiful sense of self-esteem, self-worth, self-estimation. Yes. And I want to say this. If we lived in a society that valued women and children and humanity, it would not be an individual responsibility to make this happen internally so you can feel the connections you need to get what you want. You would be in tune in society, already using the energetic and physicalized resources of your village. And worthiness. I'm going to say it straight. Worthiness, it's inherent.
You're
Let
right.
me say this.
It is a human right to have worth.
Well, worthiness, I want to talk about the logic of the odds of you being alive. You know, you are one of maybe 250,000 eggs. Only a few thousand of which would have dropped from your womb's plus a sperm. Like, it is illogical to think you're not supposed to be here. It is illogical to think that your worth is questionable. And a society that thrives on power over systems benefits heavily from you actually questioning that. So this is a collective illness issue. It's not an individual illness issue. So if self-worth doesn't resonate for you, fuck it. It's not actually your problem. Your worth is inherent, or you wouldn't be fucking alive. And you know what? You're gonna die. That's the one thing guaranteed. So have some fun while you're here. End of story.
Love that.
Because it's, people get stuck on the self-worth thing because they can't feel it. Yeah, because it's kind of fucking hard to feel something that's natural. No fucking offense. And yes, while you're healing, going from somebody who would have, like, you know, sucked dick for coke and actually having like a different way to express themselves where they don't have to do that. I'm not saying, I'm so glad your self-worth came up. I'm saying, this is a fucked up story. I really wish you never had to suck dick for coke. Do you need a hug? Can I get you some food? What would help you motivate a life that actually brings you into collective wellness, where you belong, and God bless you, this society thinks. So in the healing journey, do not make an individual illness issue out of a collective wellness deficit. Do not take personally cultural deficits, or you'll fuck yourself up. That's all I'm saying.
Woof. I felt that for sure. It's like we have this forgettery in our, well,
It's
I
the black
did.
and white thinking.
It is the black and white thinking for me
Yeah.
too. And I feel like I'm finally able to like, okay, I can embrace the gray. And that was very fucking hard for me. But recovery has absolutely helped me. Recovery from substances has absolutely helped me. And there were things that I used to do where I would compromise my value, my self-worth, because I wanted to feel loved, or I wanted attention, or I wanted approval. And now it's like, I love that I'm fucking alive. I just fucking deserve it because I am. Because I am.
Well,
But I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of those, meditations, the yoga, all the shit that we do, right? This journey, for me, it's been a journey. I'm a seeker. Look, this is why I have a fucking podcast, because I'm a seeker. I want to know, I want to journey. I want to hear your journey. How do you view the world? How do you view God? What's your spirit like? I'm a seeker. And I fucking forgot that I just am. And I deserve it because I fucking am. I forgot.
Yeah. And
I hated being told, you don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. And I was like, yes, I fucking do. Like in my mind, I would choose things that I thought in the moment I was loving myself. But in hindsight, I wasn't treating myself in the best way that I could.
But what's interesting is the only reason you would judge that is because your safety was at stake relatively. The only reason you would judge yourself for any of that being wrong is because your sense of belonging and safety were at question, which again is a collective failing. The healing journey is learning not to take this stupid shit personally so you can get your personal life back into enjoyment for yourself. It's playing both sides. It's playing that energy. It's paradox is what plays. In order to love my life more, I have to detach. In order to live more deeply, I gotta like my fuck up.
I know, right?
Like
That's been a huge thing for me.
We're playing a game here, right? And a lot of it, when we talk about magnetism and attraction, it's being aware that you're casting worlds. Always. People are like, one day when I'm strong and creative, I'll have all these things.
Right
now,
now,
you're doing it right now.
Yes.
Right now, you're creating the world that says one day when I'm strong. In the sense that you're literally keeping yourself here in this one day when I'm strong. When you're like, I'm a seeker and I like to do these things. I'm like, that's awesome. Everybody take inventory of the things and how your body feels when you say them. When you say seeker, it makes you light up.
I do light up.
So that's beautiful. A lot of people are like, I'm a mom and a wife,
and you can
I'm
feel
a teacher,
it.
and
You
can
can
hear me
feel
like this. And the loss of power. So you'll hear the wispiness in the voice. You'll hear their spirit leave their body because the shell they're masking is coming in place. Because why? Because they believe that if they were themselves, they will actually get killed, ostracized, and not belong.
Burned.
I was going to say witch wound.
It is the witch wound.
But, so, I will say this. You really want to say fuck the patriarchy. Be happy anyways.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like, literally, what do you mean you don't have your goals met? What goals, bitch?
Exactly.
Like, what's your mission? To enjoy the passage of time.
The joy of being.
To just fucking be here. What do you mean that's enough? It's enough. Because guess what? I'm here. Because guess what? I met Lindsay and now I'm on her podcast. Because guess what? And it sounds so funny because so many people are motivated by self-recriminatory action instead of inspired action. Meaning, I'll get up and meditate because if I don't, I'm a piece of shit. Versus, I'll get up and meditate because
it feels
my
so
heart
good.
And my body really have committed, even if we want to argue, to understanding. And believe me, girl, I meditate when I want to, but I can't push it because then I get all demand avoidant. I'm like, fuck meditation. So, there's this play always going on with healing. That is, do you believe yourself? Then meditation isn't it for right now. Are you willing to ask for something new? I swear to God, we're in this big ass ocean and God's just constantly trying to open our fucking 0.1% blinders. Like,
I know.
Bitch, look at all this great fish. Stop looking at this dumb broke fish.
Exactly.
Look at these dusties. Get over here, But, and that's what's fun. That's why I gotta not take it too serious.
Right?
Right?
And
Like it's just what it is.
Exactly. And then it's like, I went through this whole, you talked about ego, death, and destruction, which I, celebrated all year, the ego death for me. But basically, what was I thinking? I don't know. I think I just lost my train of
It's
thought.
okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Ego destruction. Oh, right. Because as a Capricorn and all these societal fucking pressures, blah, blah, blah. I was like, who the fuck am I? Oh my God, I'm only a waitress. And then I switch my perception. Am I having fun at my job? Yeah. Am I making a lot of money? Yeah. Am I meeting people? Yeah. Are they hearing about my podcast? Yeah. Am I having my mornings free? Fuck yeah. I was like, I am living the dream. Like, it is all about fucking perception. But I had to get out of that. Oh my God, I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have health benefits right now. I'm not,
You want to fuck your shit up and really like change your name. This is for your listeners too. Is that every time you go to ask for something, especially if you feel like you're really been on this like, God, I'm asking for stuff, right? Is instead of ask, just say thank you. And start watching how often you start saying thank you instead of asking.
The gratitude practices
Say thank you.
are they shift your vibration. Fuck yeah.
But instead, if it like, oh God, I want, no, you know what, I'm already good, thank you.
Like when I got fired, I was mad. I reacted at first, but I'm getting better at responding instead of reacting. That has been a practice.
But, and what we were talking about earlier, you cannot, when you're receiving and you're in something, you're in the middle of fucking choppy shit. It is not the time to be like, give me 5 minutes while I let this go through and I find a way to respond. Reaction is actually going to happen probably for you and that other person's benefit. Are you going to not shame yourself between reacting and choosing how to respond if you want to change that action? And are you going to come quickly with amends of the highest alignment to the person? Unless it would hurt them, right? But if are you going to come and are you going to rectify
and own your
as
shit
soon as possible with the least amount of dissonance? And I don't mean time delay. Time is whatever you can give it for divine timing. I'm talking about don't get your own fucking way. Don't tell yourself stories that justify your bad behavior. Oh, but fuck them. This has nothing to do with them. This has nothing to do with them. This has to do with you.
Always.
If you walk out the house and you aren't true to who you are, you're going to be one of those dumb bitches that are like, can you believe the gas price? Oh my God. Can you believe this? And they just are radio towers of destruction because everybody wants and lack. So tune your shit. Tune your shit deep. I'm good either way. Wait, I don't know if I feel that. That's okay. I'm going to let myself be 1% more open today. I'm going to let myself believe just because it feels better, for fuck's sake.
In my body. Which is our little tuner. It's our meat sack. It's our tuner. Like,
well, it is. It's a tuning fork. Yeah. Our bones generate electricity while we move, right? Like our osteoclasts generate electricity when they're impacted, which is how they regenerate, right? They're encased in collagen and elastin and all of these really high superconductive materials. We're tuning forks. That's all. You gotta pick your station, right? Man. You gotta pick your station. And a lot of people don't think it's available to them. Feel limited. Think there's only so many ways. But I'll pick this box and that'll be enough. And God bless them all. And maybe for that life it is, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But for most of us, it's a path in and out of our own fucked up bullshit stories and our own boxes. The prison door has always been open. In fact, there's no prison. Are you gonna act like it? And 4 generations into the Industrial Revolution, we're in a deep state of collective zoochosis, where we've been caged animals for so many generations that all of us are like, okay, the door's open. We got this internet and all these awesome opportunities, and we're all looking around like, but will I die?
Yeah.
Because we have no elders that have done a lot of the fuck this shit thing, and it's not, I don't purpose, but like lived in authenticity. As openly.
The enough thing. Am I enough? Is this enough? I don't have enough. I had to say, fuck that. I have enough. And really live where my feet are. Where am I right now? What am I doing right now? And not to say that we shouldn't look at our past, because there is healing in that, like you said. But like you said before, like if you're fucking like this the whole time, you're gonna fucking crash or fall backwards because you're not looking at what's in front of you, what's actually here, what is here right now. And I love the thank you, the gratitude practice. Like I'll just walk around sometimes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you with each step. And then I'm like, if you really think about it, I'm like, thank you for this apartment. Thank you for the food in my fridge. Thank you for the water. Thank you for my fucking dog. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for this couch. Thank you for this internet. It's like, and then you can really see how abundant you really are. And it's
if you
so powerful.
Well, and if you're ever really feeling like shit, I don't know if it's gonna work out, or shit, like I'm feeling broke, like, or that real lack, especially like abundance is lacking. I'm ugly, feeling low. I don't feel like I'm in my right. My clothes, any of it. You can just sit in the middle of the day, sit down and relax, and call your ancestors in and say, "Would you like to have a seat with me?
Sit with me."
Because to sit in the middle of the day is a luxury most of our families never knew.
Yeah.
Luxury is a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our responsibility to activate it with the things, the life, the Maya that the earth gives us. You got a couch that's paid for? Sit on it.
Fuck yeah.
And with that, I think we're complete, girl.
I feel like we are complete.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will put in the description of the podcast
Yeah.
the ways to connect with Jessica. She is incredible.
Here, I'll give a shout out.
Yeah, do a little shout out.
You can find me, she'll put it in there, but /Jessica Johnston CPM for Certified Professional Midwife. You can also find me at pacificbirthinstitute.com if you want to learn about community birth and how to provide.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I hope everybody has an amazing week. And I'm just throwing this out there. If you are interested in being on this podcast, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to just sit with you like this or on, whatever. Just reach out. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.